Time, weather, and always.
Attention, white people around the world. Tomorrow, we reclaim what is rightfully ours through our Führer, Donald Trump. Welcome, everyone, to the Civil Society Podcast, episode number 2. I am Josh Sturd, as usual, joined by Rob Holtzinger and Andrew Thomas across me to my left today. Special guest, my good friend Addie, and I'm going to take a stab at her last name. Oh, God. And she loves when I do this. Ogun Ile?
No.
Say it one time. Say it one time.
Ogunleye.
You gotta sing. You gotta sing when you say it.
You have to. That's a very African thing to do with names. Is to sing everything you say.
Nice. Josh doing the very WPS thing. Y'all don't know what WPS means? I mean white people shit.
Oh. I just thought it was that thing on the back of my wireless router. So I wanted to get Addie in here because I know she feels very strongly about these things. There's a march scheduled for Saturday that my wife and I know some people are going down to. Nice. It's a women's march, so I wanted to get a woman, particularly a woman of color, to get her thoughts on everything as we move toward a Trump presidency tomorrow.
Yeah, we figured that Josh and me being white males, there was enough of that on the radio, so we needed a little bit more diversity.
Thanks.
So yeah, well, I guess we can start there. That's the pretty obvious topic to tackle is Trump takes office tomorrow, and everybody's initial thoughts about it. I guess I can just kind of open up the floor. Addie, you're shaking your head.
No.
You're not feeling this?
Well, could I interject? I was talking to a couple of people that listened to the podcast last week, and they were asking about why didn't we talk that much about Hillary Clinton. And,
okay.
And I was saying to myself, that is so chauvinistic of us for us to talk about Trump without bringing in Hillary Clinton. And I am glad that y'all two will, I don't know, answer my or their question. Like,
she sucks too. I mean,
that's the main thing.
That's well, to be
right on.
To if we want to get into Hillary Clinton for a second and backpedal to that, then yeah, let's do it. I held my nose and I voted for her.
Wow.
I did the same.
I did not want to. I wanted to vote Gary Johnson, but Gary Johnson was a dummy.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I could go to him.
And
I
think part of it too is in our current system, a vote for a third party really doesn't mean much. Yeah, you're voting your conscience, but at the end of the day, Jill Stein I think got maybe 3% of the vote, which that's just not helping anything, especially in an election with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, and there are those people who say that her supporters Jill Stein supporters were detracting from Hillary Clinton. And it's like, look, she won the popular vote. We got into that a teeny bit last week about popular vote versus electoral college and everything. But I really think that I'm glad Hillary Clinton's. I'm glad that I voted for her because I didn't vote for Donald Trump. But I'm also glad she lost, so I didn't have to see what I did. Right? Like,
yeah.
But see,
that's where we were this time.
I think that's flawed logic, though, bro. It's just everyone keeps saying this. If you don't do this, is that? And I mean, first I want to say the electoral college is BS. Everyone knows it. But I mean, if everyone keeps saying if we vote for this person, just change the format, change the question. I mean, end of the day, I mean. I wrote and vote Bernie Sanders because I was like, I can't vote for either.
That was a very fair thing for you to do. I think that he would have had even a better position, a better chance at beating Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton did.
But see, that's what I'm ultimately saying. If we all just get together on a grassroots level and just be like, all right, I understand the power of the modern day democracy is by people not being outright and forthright about who they voted for. If they do that in the first place, like, hey, yo, everybody, if we do this, they can't deny us. And if they do, a groundswell of people will change.
Everyone's too complacent.
And we touched upon that last week. I mean, basically
Everyone
complacency.
is too complacent.
Yeah, complacency, lazy thinking, and I think we can do better.
And here we are again, not even talking about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
We touched on it for a second and just went, the system's fucked. Whatever.
I like that. We brought in Hillary Clinton because last week people thought we might have been being chauvinistic, and you decided that, you know what? Fuck talking about Hillary Clinton. I wrote in a man. I wrote in Bernie Sanders because I didn't think a woman could get it done.
I mean, it was only that simple. But
you know what? You know what we were doing last week? We were not being chauvinistic. We were actually just priming people for what they're going to have 4 years of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coming up starting tomorrow.
The tone in the room just
get used that would have been funny if it wasn't so true, but get used to it, ladies. Learn your place.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
So one of the big things happening this week in presidential politics, as everyone saw, was the confirmation hearings for
holy
Trump,
shit
for
that
Trump's
woman.
cabinet.
Oh, Betsy DeVos.
Yeah.
That was
The
So we want to talk. So if we're going to talk about women,
of
let's
women.
disparage one.
Wow.
And only to be fair with that, all I heard about her so far, and all I care about is the bear comment.
Oh, the
Bear.
Wyoming. They're in Wyoming.
I'm very familiar with this one because I listened to her confirmation hearing and I was so intrigued by it that I went back and watched the video of
wow.
it so I could see the look on her face and see if she's for real.
She had a terrifying grin the whole time.
She really
Any
did.
question, it was,
Well-
no, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
So her bear comment was in response to guns in schools.
Yeah.
Do you think that? I think that a fair position, and I don't know if we want to jump off on guns or anything here, but I think that a fair position to hold would be to say, look, there are mass shootings in schools. It does happen, and it happens with such a sad regularity in this country that perhaps we should explore the option of maybe having an armed guard at schools if the taxpayers in that district want to supply that to their public school system. It's a sad reality. Maybe we take a look at that. If she would have said something like that, I feel like she wouldn't be getting all the shit she's getting for what she did say, which was, I believe that there's a school in Wyoming that we discussed earlier that has a fence around it for grizzly bears, and perhaps there's a gun in that school to protect against grizzly bears.
Holy shit.
Which is a true thing.
Yeah.
To defend her a little bit, there is a school in Wyoming. It's the only one in the country that has a grizzly bear fence around it because they're part of a very rural sort of home on the range area where grizzly bears are an issue.
But that has nothing to do with the rest of the comment. Like this.
You're absolutely
it's
right.
So, fucking.
It's so out there.
It's so Brokeback Mountain-ish.
In your dreams, dude.
No, my dreams.
Isn't that where Brokeback Mountain takes place? Wyoming.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I didn't memorize it like you did. I didn't
worked very
explore it and rewatch it several times
I worked hard.
Fall asleep to that movie every night.
So
with a
comforting.
tear in your eye for Heath
So
Ledger.
comforting.
Oh.
So yeah, so that's
Moonlight.
where her guns in schools grizzly bear comment came from was that, and she tried to play a little trick and she failed miserably. She was doing this thing constantly where she would say thank you for the question, Senator, to just about every single question she was asked as a way to buy herself more time, I think, to
process
work over
and-
what was going on because it was
Yeah.
too fast paced for this rich bitch. And I'm not one of these people who inherently think that wealthy white people are evil, but I do think that she's not.
They
the
have a
appro-
track record of being evil.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you mean disconnect.
I see Addie's just, you can't even get words out. You're just shaking your head in laughter over there.
Oh, it's also true.
Right on.
But yeah, so I don't think that wealthy white people are inherently evil. I think there's a lot of the times that when they group together and they decide to cut deals for each other off the backs of hardworking, honest people of any race in this country, I think that is where a lot of this stigma comes from. And I think that she is one of these people who participated in and perpetuated that stigma.
Oh, the echo chamber.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the little bubble. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
And she's a big part of that. Donald Trump's a big part of that. And if you look at the other appointments he's made to his cabinet in their confirmation hearings this week, Rex Tillerson, Tom Price for HHS, that guy, he's not, I don't want to say scary, but he's sleazy. Like, there is something about that guy. You look at him, and he's that guy.
Look
He's like,
who appointed him.
What level of sleazy are we talking about? Like used car salesman sleazy?
No, it's like
bad
that
lawyer sleazy?
it's
Like I ran for the presidency, insulting people and won sleazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it's Well, yeah, and with Tom Price, for him, when I see him and I listen to him talk, he's like that snake in the grass. He's clean, but everybody around him is dirty. He has all these other people doing stuff for him.
Oh, that's the guy you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like one of those cartoon villains that's totally untouchable, but he's doing wrong.
He's
You
like
just
Walter
can't
White.
get to- Yeah. There you go.
Oh yeah, actually, this is what I wanted to bring up. The Bernie Sanders asking her whether or not she's here because she's a billionaire, or would she be here if she wasn't a billionaire?
Yeah, Betsy DeVos. Yeah, we'll I'll pull that video up. It's 1:25, so we'll play that real quick right now and just kind of see if we can enjoy together what Bernie Sanders said to Betsy DeVos in that confirmation.
Love
hearing.
that man.
Yeah, he did. He actually
He should be
did,
a Brokeback Mountain.
He did. He did. I thought a really good job, sort of getting into some of the things that are wrong with the way that politics is currently playing out. You know, calling her out in a confirmation hearing about whether or not she's appropriate for the position and whether she got it because her family has donated nearly $250 million to the Republican Party. Damn. You know, and I think that I do believe that is a fair question to ask. However, I'm not so sure that this confirmation hearing was the place to ask it. I think that would be more appropriate in maybe an ethics panel rather than her confirmation hearing for being the Secretary of Education. But that's something we can jump into if we want on the other side of this video here.
Thank you, Senator.
Mrs. DeVos, there is a growing fear, I think, in this country that we are moving toward what some would call an oligarchic form of society, where a small number of very, very wealthy billionaires control, to a significant degree, our economic and political life. Would you be so kind as to tell us how much money your family has contributed to the Republican Party over the years?
Here it comes.
Senator, first of all, thank you for that
Ah.
question. I'm, again,
This
was
is that
pleased to meet
wiggle
you in your office,
room
last week.
Garbage.
I wish I could give you that number. I don't know.
I have heard the number was $200 million. Does that sound in the ballpark?
Collectively, between
over
my
the years,
entire
yes.
family, that's possible.
Okay. My question
Her
is, and I don't
stupid
mean to
accent
be
annoys
rude,
me too.
but do you think if you were not a multi-billionaire, if your family has not made hundreds of millions of dollars of contributions to the Republican Party, that you would be sitting here today?
Senator, as a matter of fact, I do think that there would be that possibility. I've worked very hard on behalf of parents and
She sounds
and
like she
children
believes that.
for the last almost 30 years to be a voice for parents.
She's an
and
old
to
white woman. Of course she
voice for
believes that.
students and to empower
fair.
parents to make decisions on behalf of their children, primarily low-income children.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
There's just nothing to say.
Yeah, so she really believes that she would have a position there. I think that what he asked was a fair question, but again, I don't know if that was the place for it.
See, I disagree. I think it was because if not there, okay, an ethics committee, but he wants to call her out. It's not going to be as prominent somewhere else because people aren't watching somewhere else. And don't get me wrong, they
That's
absolutely
fair.
should be. But in this setting, a lot of people are watching, and something needed to be said, or
Right.
at least
Well-
felt like it needed to be said.
Well, to be honest, I think she does believe she would be there because she paid for it. So, I mean, she paid to play. I mean, so ultimately she do believe she's going to be there, whether it's through Trump or whomever the person that would have elected her to be there. And it's just letting you know that the business of America it's all about that money.
keeps rolling along.
Right on.
Yeah, absolutely. I can agree with that to a degree, but I still feel like these are some of the stall tactics that Republicans used 8 years ago when Obama was bringing his appointees in, and now the Democrats are doing it, and they're
It's just a vicious cycle of
it
bullshit.
really is, and I feel like we're spinning our tires talking about this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
because everyone's being fucking petty as shit. No one's actually doing anything. It's just like, well, you did this, I'm gonna do this instead. You put my feelings. It's like, okay, we get it. Like, can we just get some fucking work done now? Like,
Well, and that's another thing. It's like, do we want to sacrifice the smooth transition of power and the continuity of government for Betsy DeVos being a spoiled, rich woman? Really, is that something that that's worth maybe having a dip in the road of continuity of government for? You know, anyone? No takers on that one.
I'm just like, we go from Hillary Clinton to Betsy, spoiled rich white woman, and we're not chauvinistic.
Well, to be fair, if we're since this is sort of a current events, as this show takes shape, here in our second episode, we're sort of a current events,
Right.
social discussion show,
Well,
right?
Let's
And
go to a real strong white woman. Let's go to Chelsea Manning.
okay,
All right.
How about that?
Yeah,
How about
we
that?
can jump there.
I mean, I'm just saying, all this bashing of white women is just.
Let's
I'm
lift up
afraid
the
of-
white woman.
I'm afraid of the cops coming after me.
Sometimes they need it.
I noticed that.
Your turn.
We're here.
Sometimes they need
I
it.
understand. We're here. We're here.
They need to be put in their place.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, but I just want to jump back for half a second and say that out of 23 positions in the open positions in Trump's cabinet, 18 of those positions will be filled with white men. So if we appear chauvinistic for not allotting equal time to women, it's because our president-elect did not do that either. So, which it is the least diverse cabinet in generations, and there is not
What, like
a,
two,
which,
3 generations?
of which, no, going back farther than that. I
Really?
believe, yeah.
Really?
So it's from what I heard, and I did listen to CNN a little bit on the way in, so maybe my view on this might be skewed, but they made it sound
That's fake news.
Fake news.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Fake news. You're fake news. I'm the best news person around. I give all the good news.
My news is tremendous.
Look at the size
All
of
right.
my news.
Yeah, it's the size of a button. All right, let's keep this rolling, and we'll talk about Chelsea Manning. Rob, I know you were kind of chomping at the bit coming in.
I
here to
was.
talk about
Ginger
this.
Jesus, let's do it.
Let's go there.
Yes, again, since Jesus is white. Anyway,
More white men.
Chelsea Manning has been the remainder of her sentence has been commutated by President Obama.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was supposed to serve, I think, 35 years.
Is it commutated or commuted?
I don't know.
I think it's commuted.
Commuted. I could be wrong.
What's it
They
called?
I didn't go to college. I don't know. The rest of her sentence has been
It's overrated.
commuted. Sorry.
You're good.
And it was supposed to be.
I just
think,
couldn't not address it. I'm
That's
sorry.
35 years or something, and she served about 7.
Yeah.
A lot of people see that as a good thing. I'm sure there's a lot of people that see that as a terrible thing. I think it's good. She was a whistleblower, and
Yes.
she let people know.
But was she a whistleblower, or was Bradley Manning the whistleblower?
Damn.
I'm just.
You just gotta
I'm
protect
playing.
the
I'm
man.
playing trans head games
You
now.
gotta protect the man.
I gotta make the story.
Well, I think that's two totally different topics.
Yeah.
Like her transition.
I know it is. It certainly is. But
It's completely separate from.
I'm an
whether or not-
asshole, and I
Well,
wanted to
that's
say that.
I mean, I am all for this. I'm going to take it to another level. I mean, I overheard the guy from the White House respondent talking about if you're able to pardon Chelsea Manning, why not Snowden? And he's like, no, it's different. He went to Russia. It's like if you're going on a date with someone and they do whatever, and then they go to the man or the person of the other arms. It's like, what nonsense are you talking about? They're both whistleblowers. They both are fact checked. They're letting people know that our government isn't for us. Why are you not treating them like the heroes that they are? I mean,
Yeah.
That's ultimately like, when I hear Chelsea Manning and what she did, I mean, it's dope, all around dope. And I'm still counting down for Obama to, let out Mumia.
Yeah, Mumia and Leonard Peltier as well.
Yeah.
Right on. Right
those are two big ones that
Yeah.
he probably will not mention. And they
Yeah, he's
actually,
got what?
as far as I know, I believe that I saw last night that Leonard Peltier is not on that list. So there is no hope that President Obama will move on, and I highly doubt moving forward any other president will even pay attention to that bogus verdict out there.
Could you elaborate more on Leonard?
So it's been a while since I've looked at that case. When I was a teenager, it was a big thing. Rage Against the Machine was one of my favorite bands, and they were they pushed the free Leonard Peltier thing. And as a teenager, I absorbed a lot of what they said about it. Yeah. And what I remember, and I have friends who are way more obsessed with this case than I am. But he basically did not stand down to FBI agents who were on sacred Chippewa Sioux lands out there in the Midwest. I think it was North Dakota, but I'm not positive. And if I remember correctly, they didn't announce who they were, and they basically said, you need to come out. There was some sort of disagreement between them, and Leonard Peltier, I believe, shot and killed at least one of them.
I think it was two FBI agents.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, I'm not a proponent of violence, but I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta protect yourself.
Yeah. So
Especially from the G-men.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's one of those cases that he wasn't proven to be guilty, right? And even the prosecution, since his incarceration, has come out and said we failed to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he committed any crime.
Right.
So when you have the prosecution saying that, you would think it would be a no-brainer, and you would go, all right, this guy did what he believed was right. The FBI agents who were out there were not acting appropriately, and there was a consequence and whatever. Should he have served some time? Yeah, maybe. You know,
because he killed
No
two
way.
people.
No.
Yeah.
Well, but at the end of the day,
but
he
the
did
circumstance
kill two people. That doesn't mean he should still be in there. And I think it comes down to it being two FBI agents versus a Native American,
Exactly.
a
And
person
the
of color.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
the man's always gonna win.
Exactly, and that's why he's still there, and that's why Obama won't commute his sentence because he's a man.
commutate.
Yeah, fuck you.
Commutations.
It's because he's a man of color.
You
and
leave Ginger Jesus alone.
Otherwise that's saying the government was wrong, and we all know the government's never wrong.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's why you go back to Chelsea Manning. It's like a lesser way of saying we were wrong without taking it all the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that I think the reason Chelsea Manning probably didn't go to Russia is because she didn't get away.
She
Edward
wasn't
Snowden.
high up. Like, Edward Snowden was a contractor who had like top secret clearances.
Yeah.
Chelsea Manning did not. She didn't have that sort of resource.
Yeah.
What she did,
She kind of lucked into it.
yeah, and she put herself way farther out there. And I wonder if that makes Julian Assange feel like a dick.
Well, I mean,
I would
he
hope
did
so.
He's a dick, period.
So you don't like him? I mean, the whole
That eye roll was beautiful.
so
I want to hear this. Why is Julian Assange
child
an asshole?
molestation and rape charges aside, why do you think that Julian Assange is a dick?
Well, that.
Mainly that. That's
That's a good
that's
point.
it.
That's valid.
He's
I
a-
believe the child molestation charges. If it was child molestation or child rape, it was one or the other.
Yeah.
They got dropped. And
just because it
there's-
got dropped doesn't
Yeah.
mean it wasn't a thing that
but
happened.
but are they
True.
substantiated claims? That's the whole thing. Because if you want to, I don't want to go into a wormhole. Let's not open up.
You already
Pandora's
did.
box.
You already did, Mr.
I am
Bear.
opening a serious can of worms.
Yes,
but
you
there
did.
isn't there some sort of a chance. I hope you're going to be on my side here too. because if what we talked about last week, if there's some sort of trilateral commission or shady men sitting above pulling the puppet strings. If this entire thing is a false flag operation, I believe that Julian Assange.
Wait, can we get?
I gotta say this. If it's a white male, hell no. I mean, between Trump and the Golden Showers and
those Golden Showers.
Roman Polanski in the 13th, it's like there's a trend
Yeah, there is.
it's like white men doing bad things to people that's lesser than, or that they perceive lesser than them and getting away with it. I mean, hell, you look, one of the things about slavery, the untalked about history of it is like
It was great for business.
it was great for business, but also it was.
I said that
old-
ironically, and it passed over.
Oh no, I got, I got it. I understood it, but I'm still making this
It just
point.
wasn't funny.
it's because it was kind of.
You're mean, Ginger Jesus. That's just mean. I'm not going to say it's not funny. We just got not to laugh. I mean, but yeah. Ultimately, one of the things about Untold Story about slavery is like the way that they used to use black men and women for sexual what's the word deviancies I mean, ultimately they were
Using them as sexual objects.
absolutely.
There you go.
And yeah, thank
Like,
you, Ginger.
hey, Thomas Jefferson. Ew.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, like it's harder for me to believe, from my perspective, like give I mean, I like the fact what he did, but I like the fact that he's being what they call it, the fifth state, where he just like he's talking about there's a movie made about him that didn't do well with Benedict Cumberbatch. I can't remember the full name of it, but ultimately, like I like the fact that he's given a platform for this information for the mass public to hear about what the government is doing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I you know, if he falls in line with that then
Yeah,
nobody-
nobody
no matter,
likes the if.
no matter how much good he's doing, he's still a shitty person.
end of the day.
And that's going to overshadow any good that he's doing.
Well,
Well, I mean, think about it. As Trump has been getting closer to his being elected tomorrow.
Inaugurated.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
elected in
Sorry,
November.
excuse me. Inaugurated tomorrow. He's been coming out saying things in support of Trump, kind of.
Yeah.
what?
He has been.
Really?
He's been saying certain things, making certain comments, supporting him in the things he's been doing and saying.
Them damn white
and that's
men.
why I've been like,
Always sticking
Yeah, it's
together.
white men.
yeah. It's like, okay, because I mean, let's be real.
I
Everyone
think-
who comes on does some kind of good is always going to be kind of problematic.
I believe that Julian
So-
Assange is saying things that I don't know the quotes, but he's trying to buddy up to a certain part of the Trump administration, because if he can get these charges against him in the United States, if he can get those dropped or lessered, then there's a possibility that if England cooperates and he gets extradited to the United States for a lesser charge, he doesn't have to live in the Ecuadorian embassy anymore, right? Like that's kind of I think that he's grasping at straws because it's been 4 years.
He's just
lived-
doing whatever he can.
I think
to-
his room is like 30 by 30 meters
Wow.
or whatever. It's a 300 square foot room, or whatever. It's ridiculous, and he's living inside the Ecuadorian embassy. So I think that he's just kind of grasping at straws to be like, I need to go outside, like And if he steps out of the front door and goes off that sidewalk, he gets arrested. They send him to Switzerland. Is that where the charges are?
I think that's where it starts.
and
right?
then they extradite him from there to the United States. And if he can get that extradition for something that, if he feels like, oh, hey, look, Chelsea Manning, her sentence got reduced from 35 to 7 or 8 years, maybe there's hope for me
Well,
to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that maybe he's trying to button up to some people to try to
he
play cards that way.
He did send out a tweet saying that if she gets her sentence commutated,
Jesus Christ.
Don't say your name.
commutation, that he would turn him.
It's going to come out after this goes up that I was right.
I hope not.
But he tweeted out that he said that he would he would turn himself in and fall on that sword. So I can't wait to see him do it if he does it.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that happens. But so I guess the overall feeling I'm getting here about Chelsea Manning is that we all sort of are in the boat that she's a hero, a
Hell
whistleblower.
Yeah.
She rocks.
And this, I was really hoping for some more differing opinions, but I
No,
guess.
please, more whistleblowers.
It's
in fact.
kind of
Well,
hard.
yeah, but
No, she ruined our government.
There
She
you go.
should
There you go.
the rest of her life.
that's what I was hoping.
Don't give her hormones. She doesn't deserve it.
Well, let's go there. Let's go there. There's that to me. I do not believe that it should have been the military's responsibility to fund her transition while incarcerated. I do believe that. I understand that gender dysphoria is a real thing and that people do go through that. But if you commit a crime, she knew what she was doing.
So
when
she'd had
as-
all of her healthcare rights taken.
No, not all of them. As Bradley Manning, you know that I'm going, and maybe you guys can change my mind on this. I'm getting a lot of cold stares right now. but as Bradley Manning, siphoning this information, giving it to someone that you know is going to go public with it, you know that this is a chargeable offense, that you will be discharged from the military, that you will be arrested by military police, and that you will be thrown in jail. You know this when you commit that act. You have to understand that I'm sacrificing certain things in my life, and whether or not she was on hormones before committing this crime, I do not know. But I'm not sure. I'm not sold on the fact that our military's budget should include hormones for people experiencing gender dysphoria.
Well, where do you draw the line at healthcare in incarceration?
Well, I think I believe that
Is it
people
would you say a pre-existing condition? So should somebody get diabetes medicine?
that's fair. Okay, let's.
And
I've
you can argue
this
that
is why I'm doing this, because I want to expand
you
my
can-
mind, and hopefully people listening will hear these things and it'll make sense to them. Is it a pre-existing condition? Because there are a lot of people. I'm not one of them, but there are a lot of people out there who believe that that gender reassignment is a choice, not a. They don't.
well, maybe the
view gender
reassignment is, but the dysphoria is not.
Okay.
And
So is there a way to treat that through any sort of therapy that wouldn't require hormones being purchased for this person on the taxpayer dollar?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I couldn't, or a psychologist, whatever would be.
But you
most-
are trans, so your haircut says you are anyway. I don't know.
Stop attacking Ginger Jesus. Leave Jesus alone. That's blasphemy.
Are you giving him your lunch money to protect you, or what's going on?
Hey.
It's not so much money, but there's under the counter thing. Just don't worry about it.
Okay. I can only see you waist up, so I don't know what's going on down there.
You don't want to see below there.
Oh,
Maybe I do.
You don't want to see what's going on.
Maybe I got some dysphoria of my own. But yeah, so I think that there's, at the very least, there should be a conversation about that.
Absolutely.
You
Well,
know?
there probably was.
I agree.
Right, but I believe that there should have been a more public, open, and friendly conversation about it, because when that all happened,
That's
you
hard.
had the LGBT community attacking the people who didn't want that to happen, and you had the people who were saying, "No, I'm not paying for this with the military budget," blah blah blah, going right back at them. And there was no, and that's, again, I got to keep saying it over and over. That's what we really aim to achieve here, is to bring things that might be a little controversial into a place, discuss it, and walk away better, because we had the fucking balls that a lot of people in the media don't have to address this shit head on,
Right
in
on.
an honest fucking capacity.
I am ready to run through this wall for you, man.
And
Let's
that's-
do it.
But that's one of those things. Like I've never known anyone in my personal. I know one person. Looking back as a bartender, I've met one person who was a trans individual.
Okay.
He was a guy for 2 years that I
Yeah.
bartended for him, and then one day he came in a girl
Yeah.
after the surgery and said, "Do you remember me?" I was like, I don't. Told me her name, and I said, "Oh my God, how are you?" And it was, and it was, but beyond that, I don't. And that was a limited
I
capacity
gotta
that I
ask
knew
Josh.
that individual.
Josh, did you try to pop?
I did not. But it was one of those things though that. So that's my limited exposure, I guess, to that community.
Right.
So for me, it's aside from listening to Laura Jane Grace, right, the lead singer of the punk band Against Me, who is trans.
See, I don't know nothing about that.
But she now has gone very public about the gender dysphoria. That's how I learned that term, was listening to her talk about it.
I think
So for-
Also, the dudes from the women who did the Matrix movies.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Gosky brothers.
director-
I didn't know that.
It was
the-
the
one of the
director,
brothers.
I
The
think.
brothers.
Yeah, with the which
Wachowski.
Yeah, that sounds
yeah,
right.
they
Yeah.
are now women.
oh,
Are they
Of
both?
them? Both of them?
Both of them.
Oh shit! I didn't
Get
know
the
that.
hell out of here.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I
what
learned
are-
something new.
Yeah,
you.
one of them transitioned,
yeah, I
and
remember that
then
one.
like a few years later, did another one transition as well.
Do you think that's some kind of sibling rivalry? Like, I'm going to outwoman you?
I bet I'd make a way hotter chick.
I feel
me.
like with a lot of siblings, especially if you're
Twins?
twins or something
Yeah.
like that. Same thing with the reggaeton band duo Nina Sky. And then there's another who did I Was Walking with the Ghost. What's the name of that poppy band?
Couldn't tell you.
Don't know. Anyways, but those two groups, like one of them came out and was like, "Oh, I am now gay." The other one's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
Tegan
no."
and Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like they're both like something about just being near each other and being next to each other. You do have the sense of we're just the same and we're going to come out together and this is community for yourself. I personally know a lot of trans people. Okay. And
You live in Fishtown, so that's like way more hip than the suburbs where I live.
From tiny North Carolina towns. Like I know a lot. I don't know. I know a lot of trans people.
Are they terrified to go into public?
Some of them were for a while. But I think with this new era, it's going to be a lot harder. And I think when it comes to government regulating bodies of people who are not white cis men, it's a lot harder for people because people are just so used to talking about, this man and this woman and this guy and this. No one's really used to talking about anything besides the
outside of the
and it's
everyday.
It scares people. You have people saying, "What do I tell my child?" Well, what do you tell
Figure
your
it
child
out.
about? Yeah, exactly.
Fucking figure it out.
It's not your fault. It's not your. Who cares? Your child will figure it out. You're passing all those prejudices down to your children, just as if you just talk to any other. If you're in government and you just talk about it like it's regular, then people will assume it's regular. But we have such this Christianity embedded into our government that nothing will be normal. And so then it goes into, don't ask, don't tell. That was so prevalent for a while. And then Obama came and was like, no, bye.
Right.
It was like, no, this is stupid. But like, we have to have these conversations, and people are so stuck in their ways, and if they don't push past that, we won't be able to have conversations in government about like what you were saying about like who gets medication, who gets to pay for these things. No one wants to talk about it because they feel like it's not their problem. It's not something that should be in government. We should not have these discussions because
because the government's for white men and white men only.
White men,
you're right.
White men who have sex with children, who who do all these gross
like
things.
Wait. Which white man peed on kids are we talking about?
You trying to join in, Josh?
I didn't know that we had our own organization, and now I'm really happy because now I can come out.
It just is because there's so many white men who are into the other, but they don't want to talk about it. And so really the other is more normal than this fabrication.
You get some of these.
I am so glad that you brought up the "what do I tell my children" argument. It's a stupid straw man, because ultimately people that been on the edges of the American society, they have to tell their kids all kinds of things way early just so they can be able to survive. Whether it's a gay child, whether it's a black child, or a child that feels as though that they're gonna change and become a transgender human being, they have to have these talks. And it's just that's a part of the American psyche that the conservative white paradigm don't really discuss or talk about.
And I am really appreciative that you just said that we do have to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you get the white conservative side.
Yeah.
Right? And they're the ones saying, we don't want to have these conversations because these things are a problem and they shouldn't exist. Or you get the super evangelical people who come in and say, well, these things do exist, but we can fix those things through conversion therapy or whatever, which is not correct. But then there's the other side of things, and this is what really repulses me.
Yeah.
This I have even more of a problem with this.
Yeah.
And it's the white liberal left who believe that we don't have to have these conversations because it makes people uncomfortable.
See, I never heard that before.
They don't want to have these conversations because all children are children, whether they're black or they're gay or they're straight or they're
people who don't see color.
I was about to say that. I was like, I'm colorblind.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
and it's that type of phoniness that I really have a problem with.
Yeah.
And I get repulsed more by white people on the left who try to thought and language police because they don't want to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they have, I hate white guilt. Own that shit. Yeah. If you have white guilt, just let the fuck go. You didn't do anything wrong. This is my opinion. Feel free to shoot back at me here. But I don't have white guilt because I'm not racist and I don't view things through those.
Yes, you are.
Well,
being white, you are racist. Fucking inherently by being being white, you are racist because you were raised.
Get him, Ginger Jesus.
You were raised
Get 'em.
in a society that lifted white people up. You have benefited from that society your entire life, whether or not you see it.
And see, we did cover this last week, and that was the white privilege. I believe.
Josh and I covered this drunk at the bar for 3 hours.
Yeah, it's true.
Nice.
This is how we became friends.
Yeah.
Dope.
And this is one of those things that, like, I after last week, I didn't not believe in white privilege, but I came into it looking at it from a weird angle, going, that's not me. And Drew and a few other people, like Addie and some other people I've known in my life, have explained it to me now in a way that I go, yeah, okay, that's actually a thing, and it's institutionalized, and whether I recognize it or not, it does.
And that's
it does, but that doesn't make me racist.
No, it
I
does
don't.
not.
I don't. I don't.
I mean,
I don't buy. I
You
don't
got your
buy.
bias. You got your prejudice.
I don't buy the white guilt thing, right? Like, and the reason that I don't is because even though I do accept the idea of white privilege, I don't choose to let that make me feel guilty about who I am. I can't walk around with that on my shoulders. But what I can do is I can look at it in the face and go, this shit's not right. Let's open up the floor and let's try to bring people, because I'm not one of these people who says, like, I'm not a white apologist, right? Like, I don't look at life and
What you're ultimately talking about is white fragility. I mean, because white guilt, white fragility is like two, like it's
by fragility you mean like the psyche of the white person?
yeah,
Okay.
and the white and the sensitivity that they have towards that. I mean, when people of color correct you, or if they choose to correct you or teach you something, it's ultimately because they actually like or care about you. Whereas there are some that'll just be like, fuck it, he's just stupid.
It's a waste.
Let him be a racist white man.
Yep.
Let him go get a golden shower from someone else.
And they probably will.
But ultimately, it's like, like I have occasionally, like, you know how the sports
Yeah.
bar community is, and that type of atmosphere and demographic
Clientele.
like, they're not trying to have too many discussions about race and gender and let's say inclusiveness.
Inclusivity.
Inclusivity. I like that.
It sounds way better when you say it. you can throw that Jesse Jackson on the end. Inclusivity.
the color of everything. But ultimately, my point is like being part of the white privilege thing is like you have the luxury of not having to think about certain things that people that are marginalized do. I mean, whether it's the transformers, transgenders, or
Transgenders. Form of a woman.
or gay people, or I don't believe I said it on this. Transformers. I'm sorry if y'all out there. I'm sorry. I respect y'all. I put respect on y'all names. All right. I respect y'all. But yeah, like ultimately, the people that have been marginalized have to have these conversations.
Volvatron.
Now it's just going.
He's going for it. I like it, Josh. Go ahead. Don't let these Decepticons take over the world. That's probably what Trump cabinet is talking about.
Decepticons.
We can't let these Decepticons take over our country. Too much will and grace.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
I'm sure. Modern Family, blah. But yeah, that's ultimately what we're talking about. Is like these conversations have to happen. And I mean, I remember when I was like, what, 8, 9 years old. My mom and my uncle had to talk to me about racial profiling and how make sure that you understand where you are and how the police will interact with you. And it stuck with me because I've seen how they treat and react to my brothers or my or the rest or other parts of my family. I doubt that those conversations happen in white conservative families. And
White conservative, white liberal, doesn't matter. I never had that conversation with my parents.
And that's what I mean.
Ever.
I had a conversation with my parents about race when I was a kid. And it was, we lived, before I moved to Philly, we lived in very rural areas.
Okay.
And my dad was a pastor in the United Methodist Church,
Okay.
which is part of the reason that I probably have the mouth of a sailor and, scrambled eggs for brains. But in some capacity, Dad, I love you. But the conversation that we had was, you're going to see this because there are a limited number of black kids in your school, or there are a limited number of kids of other races in your school. And there were instances where I saw kids getting called out because of the color of their skin. And I went home and I talked to my parents about it, because that's what you did as a kid. And they had a conversation with me when I was very young, probably 8 or 9 years old, and probably 9. I think I was in 4th grade. And my dad told me a story. He said, look, that's wrong. If you see it, stop it. Get involved. Let the person doing it know that that's not, like, what they're doing is wrong, just on a base level, right? And they told me a story about my grandfather, who was a World War II vet. Both of them were. But my dad's dad served with a black guy in his company. So they came back to the United States after winning the war against Hitler and the Nazis. and they came back to the United States, and they came up from Mississippi, and they basically marched from Mississippi back to Pennsylvania, right? And they were somewhere in the South. I assume it was in Mississippi, because they came through Biloxi, but whatever. So wherever they were in the South, they all went in to sit down and have dinner at a place one night, all in uniform, all together. They walk in to the restaurant, and the owner said, he's not coming in. He's got to stay out there. And they all said, he served with us. He put his life on the line
Right on.
across the world, where you were here having a restaurant. We're not doing this. He's coming in with us. And the restaurant owner said, nope, you leave him outside.
Wow.
So they said, we're going to go outside with him. And my grandfather and the other guys in that company started ripping the wood siding off the restaurant.
Right
They
on.
started literally tearing the restaurant down.
Good.
And the owner
Yes.
had to come outside and stop them, and gave them a table and sat them down and gave
Fuck
them
yeah.
their meal for free.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's real.
So when I say, like, I don't view things through like a racial perspective. I guess everyone does to a degree, right?
Can't help it.
You can't,
Like,
yeah, exactly. You
absolutely
can't
do,
help it.
But what I'm saying is the white blinders, I don't think that mine are tinted as darkly as a lot of other people's.
Okay.
So I
enough.
recognize white privilege, but I do not carry white guilt, because I've never done anything inherently evil myself. I can't feel guilty for something someone else did. Right? We'll say if Rob goes out looking like the Unabomber here, and he pulls a hood over his face and he goes and blows up a mailbox and gets arrested, I don't feel guilty. I might feel shocked and be like, that's my friend. I feel weird because that's a friend of mine.
That weirdo.
Yeah, right? So there's that level of like, I feel weird about that because we're close. But I can't look at what other white people do and go like, I feel bad because I'm white and they're shitty people.
Well,
I can't carry that with me.
That example. The reason why I go is because that's not what it ultimately is about. It's about not Ginger Jesus
Are
doing.
you trying to
something.
make me feel guilty? Because I don't want to walk out of
Far
here feeling
from it.
bad.
I don't want you to feel guilty. I just want to hammer home just this point. It's not about Ginger Jesus, our friend Rob, doing something. It's about your grandfather, your great grandfather, doing something that has a ripple effect through time, and that's ultimately what white privilege is the fact that it's the default, it's the norm.
Now I'm gonna default to the typical white guy defense and say, but my family wasn't even here. They were in
It
Ireland
doesn't
and Scotland and other places. How does that not matter? How does it?
People who look like you.
But isn't that?
People who look
You've been
like
profiled?
You.
Oh, shit.
It's when you're, as a white man,
You hear
you're
that? That's the energy being sucked out of me right now.
as a white man, you're still, getting all the benefits from people who look like you, who have done all this fucked up shit in the past. So it doesn't matter whether or not your family was just wasn't here when all that shit was happening. You're still benefiting from what all the stupid ass racist ass bitches did when they were here
That's
doing all this shit.
very descriptive.
But it's true.
Very true.
It's true.
On a different note,
But does that mean that I should feel guilty about that?
It means that if you acknowledge that you are getting some kind of benefit, your
Right.
white privilege, and then you're using. I hate people who, when as a black person or any person of color is like, hey, you know, this is really fucked up and the situation happened, and they're like, well, not my problem. I wasn't there.
That's crazy.
It's your
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what your grandfather did, your great like that's what you're supposed to be using your privilege for. That's
Right.
exactly what I fucking hate this word, but a white ally should be doing. I hate that word.
That gives me douche
I
chills.
hate that word. But take off your fucking safety pin.
Yeah.
Stop calling yourself a white
Thank
ally.
you. I hate to say that.
And actually do shit about it. Like,
Yeah.
if you see shit, say shit, act on it.
Yes.
Take that, what is building up in your fucking stomach as white guilt, and like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Why are you yelling at me? White's a racist term now. Fuck you. No, take that shit and actually do something about it to actually, you know, make the space or your community a better place. You know, get into grassroots or, you know, organizations, do shit that's actually going to create a more equal ground for everyone.
I believe that my version of doing shit is making other white people as uncomfortable as possible at any given time.
Yeah, my favorite story recently. It's a little bit off topic, but there's
It's fine.
there was a singer from England, and she was taking a train. Did you hear about this? I don't know if you
No.
did. She's a black woman, and she's on a train, and first class, she sits down with her child. A white woman comes up to her and says, "Oh, can I see your ticket?" It's like, "Why do you want to see my ticket?" You know, I just want to make sure, you know, you're supposed to be riding first class. Okay, so do you work for the train? Or she's like, no, the conductor just says we have limited space, and I'm gonna sit here. This is not your problem. Why didn't you ask anybody else here, you know, if they had first class tickets?
Right.
She's just like, I'm gonna sit my ass here. If you have a problem, then you go do something about it. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna sit here. And so she's like, I just want to make sure whoever I sit with is first class. And she's like, you know, I don't have time for this. She just looked left. And she sat down. She's like, I know what you're doing is super racist, and I don't have time. She's like, I'm not racist. It's not true. Sits down. A white man goes and sits right across from this white lady, and the 12-year-old child looks at her and said, so you're not going to ask him for his ticket?
Oh, yes. Yes.
You're not going to ask him for... But my point is, think about how many other white people were around this woman as this was going on.
Right.
Think about because the singer actually got backlash from a lot of people. Like, why are you telling us this? Why? She's like, if I told you every single time shit like this happened to me, you would be floored.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, when you see situations like this happening, just go tell people, like, go sit your ass down, sit down, and like walk away. Like
The passivity of
people are just like, it's not my problem. Like, I shouldn't have to deal with this. I'm sitting here reading my book. I don't hear anything.
And to me, the way that I view a lot of the white liberals that I was talking about earlier, I think that a lot of them would have just sat there and let it happen.
They would.
Because
Really?
They're the
because
same people
afraid
who are
of-
wearing the fucking safety pins. There are a lot of those
They're
people
afraid
who are
of
doing
confrontation. There's
So
I don't know how you're
passive-aggressive-
so sheltered from this part of
I mean,
part of that culture is the people wearing the safety pins, the people who put the filters on their Facebook photos and stuff and whatever. You're looking shamed over there. Are you
I'm
guilty
laughing.
of this?
I'm just
But
like,
just like it's just such a phony level of it's
Compassion.
Yeah, and it's to me it's entitlement. It's like if a white person thinks that putting a safety pin on to identify with another white person, hey, look, we both think progressively, and this is awesome. Isn't it a high five? Because we are totally on the front lines of changing everything. It's not.
It's like that fucking cartoon of like the person drowning. It's like thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts
Help
and
me,
prayers.
thoughts and prayers. It's like, you're not helping me.
No.
I'm still drowning. You're not helping me.
And I can't wrap my head around a lot of the hypocrisy in that side of things, and you know the thought policing and the language policing, and the fact that the left is supposed to be this really progressive, open thought, free thought sort of movement in politics and society, where a lot of times they're the ones on college campuses, like that happened this past weekend, shutting down Milo Yiannopoulos and Martin Shkreli by protesting at UC Davis.
I'm not familiar with that.
Okay,
With
so
who? Milo?
With
Or
the
what happened? I was
situation.
like, oh,
So the
God,
situation
Milo
is-
was
I don't want no
another
trouble. I don't want no trouble.
thing. I was like,
We're friends.
well, for
We're
anybody,
friends.
for anyone out there who's listening who doesn't know Milo Yiannopoulos, he's a gay conservative from England who lives in the United States. I believe in Los Angeles right now. He's a conservative and one of the poster boys of part of the alt-right, not necessarily the white supremacist part of the alt-right, but the theoretical college campus alt-right bro sort of culture. Right? And him and Martin Shkreli, the pharma bro who jacked up the AIDS medication price, the two of them were going to speak at UC Davis this past weekend. They went there to do their shtick, whatever they do. They go up, they talk about things and conservative.
I'm Milo. I'm Martin.
Yeah, and I love.
All right, thanks for your money.
For the record, I will put this out there. I love Milo. I think he is hysterical. Do I agree with him all the time? No way. Okay, but do I enjoy listening to him get people riled up? Absolutely, I do. But protesters from the left came to where they were speaking and shut them down and said, your speech is not free speech, because what they are perceived by these protesters to engage in hate speech because they don't like feminism. They think that Donald Trump rules, right? And so they were shut down. They were not able to speak. And to me, people want to invoke and say, oh, well, the Tea Party, they protested and the alt-right protested. But the Tea Party never shut anyone down from speaking. You know what I mean? The as far as we know, what's his dick? The white supremacist Hail Trump guy, Richard Spencer. No, Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer has never shut anyone down from speaking. So why is it that the left feels like, you know what, you're saying something that we don't like, so we're going to come over there, we're going to protest and shut you down, and they actually threw like dog shit in Martin Shkreli's face, which was kind of satisfying.
That sounds awesome.
I was like,
That's horrible.
It's a little satisfying.
That's how you get red eye.
But to me, it's like, you know, you can't shut down someone in the name of free speech saying that they don't have this. It's just silly.
I mean,
from any side.
Ultimately, it gives more ammunition to
makes them more popular, makes more people want to book them, makes more people.
Then they have a soapbox to sit on and like, hey, y'all did this to us.
Mom and pop in the middle of the country or wherever would not have heard of, oh, Milo and Martin Shkreli talked at UC Davis. Cool. They wouldn't have heard that. No. But you know what they did hear about?
They heard about
liberal protesters shut this thing down. So people who were not mobilized before are now mobilized against you and your cause because you decided that you didn't want to let someone else have their say.
And they were actually victimized, and they could claim victim, and it's stupid. It's horribly stupid.
The funny thing is, those two guys got to speak the next day.
Yeah.
So,
but with even more stuff, cameras on them.
It was all for naught.
Are we going to ignore the elephant in the room? Like, you know, MLK Day passed, right?
It did.
Absolutely. It's fantastic.
I didn't know that was the elephant in the room.
Yeah, wait a minute.
I was like, wait, what happened?
I'm just saying, it's MLK Day week. I mean, you might have a day off.
Black Panther
work.
in the room.
Well, it's Captain America too. They're talking about my T-shirt. It's Captain America holding the shield and Black Panther taking it from him.
Hey,
he's strong.
I thought that Black Panther was like probably the best character in the Civil War movie.
I can't front. He's a king.
I didn't see it.
He's the king of Wakanda.
Wakanda, that's right.
Yeah, that's Wakanda. That's a damn.
Do you have to sing when you say that one?
Wakanda.
There you go.
Speaking of elephants, the Ringling Brothers is closing down.
Oh,
good.
Hey.
It is.
Great.
Good.
End of an institution.
There's no reason to take your kid to go see the circus in this day and age.
No.
Like,
I went to see the Ringling Brothers Circus when I was 3 or 4, and I remember a guy on a motorcycle in a metal ball.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
There's state fairs if you want to get that kind of a kick, and they don't have elephants. Like, that's just the real difference.
I gotta say, every time I go to the zoo, I feel bad for those animals. I'm like, oh man, these white people doing this to you. Why are they doing this to you? Be free. Let them run wild.
You know, I really want to bring up the fact that you're blaming zoos on white people.
I was gonna say, you know, animals are treated worse in other countries. You know,
It's true.
Us brown people be like,
I mean, I know in India
that elephant penis gonna do some shit tomorrow.
But let me go back.
Wait, hold the fucking phone. What?
So people take like elephant penises and like parts for the virility.
Yeah, that's right.
It's true. They eat like shark dick and stuff over in like China.
Yeah, China, they love eating dicks.
Brown people do.
Don't ask me how I know. But I'm digressing from my ultimate MLK Day point. Did y'all see the Rob Schneider
He's the
tweet
worst.
the John Lewis?
No, I didn't.
I glanced at some headline about it, which is a terrible thing to say.
John Lewis, of course, being the guy who's sort of leading the I guess you could call it a
Anti-Trump,
walkout.
yeah.
Like the walkout of the inauguration. And by walkout, I mean they're actually just going to not show up. They're just sitting out. Him and some other senators.
Yeah, John Lewis, the living oracle of the.
He really is.
Yeah, living oracle of the civil rights movement. March with Martin Luther
hero.
King. I mean, I don't know if y'all seen pictures of him, but
Yeah.
he's a black man that actually been through some shit. I mean, like real.
Yep.
He
was up there with MLK and Julian Bond.
Exactly.
And,
And Rob Schneider had this thing about telling him why MLK Day existed, and it is just like, what?
Yes, please, white man, tell me more.
Yeah.
oh, is this what they call whitesplaining?
That's what they
Yes.
say. but
I read
And
my
today's-
vocabulary sheet.
And today's word is whitesplaining.
but the overarching point is like, where does Rob Snyder's get the confidence, the audacity?
50 first dates, I think.
No, 50 years of being a white man.
Yeah.
Makes
Oh.
sense.
That's what it is. He feels, I've never been wrong in my life. I'm going to tell this black
Except
guy.
for every movie choice he's ever made.
But this is the thing. The main thing of his career is being the ethnic person of Adam Sandler movies, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
That is true.
And so ultimately,
Hippopotamus.
yeah, right? And it's just like, how many of these characters that you play gave you the, I don't know, confidence for you to say to a living oracle, this is what MLK Day means to us.
You got to stop using Oracle because every time you say it, I think of that scene from 300 where they go up into the weird mountain with like the blind guys.
I got you. But I mean,
I didn't see it, so that's lost on me.
it's a great movie if you don't like to think.
Yeah.
It's a
There you go.
fantastic movie.
I saw it like 4 times when
Yeah.
it came out, and I was drunk all 4 times.
And there it is. But like, this goes to a larger point I want to make. Like, this MLK Day thing, I think it got passed, 82 in the 80s? Like 81, 82, something like that.
I surprisingly don't know my
Yeah.
history on MLK Day.
But what I'm ultimately saying is, it's like the government made it a government holiday just so that they could co-opt it and take away the terrorism and the tyranny that was being perpetrated on black people in a nutshell. And now, is as crazy as it is like they put this message out there. They put out this, like, he's all about everyone being together, but like ultimately he was viewed as being militant. He was viewed as a threat to the American psyche, and
And the government killed him.
the government
Yeah.
killed him. And now that they got this, they took his name and made it a day. They turned it into something that it ultimately isn't.
And I can't wait to see what they do with Muhammad Ali.
But that's the thing. Like, he was militant. He was a rebel rouser, and
Yeah.
he's attacked what the status quo is. And I mean, there's a reason why they went Martin Luther King over Malcolm X, and because like he was a direct opposite, or
Well, they killed Malcolm because he started telling people that they needed to get together.
well,
And
I
that's
mean,
and by they I mean I believe
I got you.
I believe
understand
it
what
was
you're saying.
Farrakhan.
But it's more to Malcolm than just us getting together. It's him taking the government of the United States to international court
Yeah.
and suing the government over that. But this is digress from my overarching point, is that if you notice, I don't know if any of y'all noticed that there's something with the white. I mean, not y'all two, but the overarching.
Wait, pause. What? You know what I'm gonna say? Not y'all two. Every time, I feel like there's always like whenever white people in the room and we
all
try
right,
to talk about this
yeah.
shit. Not y'all two.
Go ahead.
Can I just all right. always feel like there's too many disclaimers with people and like on social media and stuff. Because I found myself saying things about Trump in a positive light a few times this past week, which surprised me. And we can get into that another time. But I just want to say, enough with the fucking disclaimers, America. We don't need that shit. We're all adults for the most part, except for the kids, and they don't need to hear these type of conversations yet. Let them live in their flowers and rainbows.
I gotta be real with you, Josh. Like, the disclaimer is not necessarily for y'all two. It's for the other white listeners, so they can understand that we're not attacking those who are white allies, quote unquote.
But maybe you should be. No, maybe you should be.
Here's my thought. If there's no disclaimer and someone gets offended, then we're talking to you, right?
But ultimately, they're going to get offended, and that's
Good.
why I do
Why
that.
people?
That's
be
95% of the reason we're in this room.
It's putting a little bit of sugar with the poison. That's just so we can kill the bad germs.
All right.
So ultimately, like it just, I find it interesting, like how MLK Day. It's like with Christmas. Like it didn't start off as what it is, but it turned into something that it's not, and it is what it is, and that's part of the American way.
Yeah. All right. That's fair.
Happy MLK Day.
Happy MLK Day. Happy Inauguration Day tomorrow.
Right on.
From the entire Civil Society podcast. We want everyone
If you want to take a shot, come to my business.
Oh, what is your business, please?
There you go. Plug it.
Not my business, but where I work.
Where do you
My
work?
9 to 5. I work at this restaurant called Hungry Pigeon in South Philly.
Hungry Pigeon.
The Hungry Pigeon.
That sounds
and
delicious.
the owners are very much like not very happy about what's happening tomorrow. So I actually asked one of the owners, I was like, can we all just take a shot on like election day? He's like, please, yes.
Inauguration Day.
Yes.
What's the
I
location?
because in my head it's not really happening.
I just like the fact. I like when you mess up because I get to whitesplain and
Thank you.
Mansplain.
Whitesplain and mansplain to
at
me.
the same time.
Thanks.
You're multitasking.
Thanks. You're on point
phenomenal.
today.
The height of luxury.
You're on point today. But tomorrow, if you want someone to just come and just like shoot the shit and just be like sad, just come over and we'll be there.
What's the location of the Hungry Pigeon?
4th and Fitzwater.
There you
Fourth
go.
and Fitzwater.
So if you will be down there tomorrow, Friday, 1:20. So yeah, I think that we covered a lot of ground today, and I'm actually glad we went down some of the avenues that we did because I didn't predict where this conversation was going to go.
But before I go, I just want to give a big shout to the Miss Africa. Her name is Berenice Craddock. I would love for you to punch up a picture of her so y'all can see why I'm giving her a big shout.
I'm interested now.
He's like, yes.
Let's see. But
2017.
okay, go on.
This woman, she encapsulate what Africa is trying to. Yeah, there she is. No. To
the right?
Yeah,
The white woman?
the white woman. That's her.
What?
Whoa!
Yeah.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. She like you got to listen to the videos that talk about it. It's so fantastic. It's
All right.
so funny. She got crowned Miss Africa 2017.
She's from South Africa.
Yes.
I imagine. Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow.
It's
See?
funny.
Shattering stereotypes all around here.
Oh yeah, colonialism. That's just a stereotype.
Well,
Yikes. Yikes.
I was going more for I figured Miss Africa would be of a darker hue.
I agree. I know where
Or
he's going.
albino.
But I think that a white woman winning Miss Africa 2017 is a huge step in the advancement
Of white people.
non-colored people. And I
Totally.
want to say that just in time for Trump to take office tomorrow, we have a white Miss Africa, and that makes me incredibly happy. And I am looking forward to a bright white future.
Absolutely. To go back to the 1930s, there was a song called all I could do is sing the hook. If you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, you can stick around. But if you black, nah, brother. Get back, get back.
Someone's going to sing that at Trump's inauguration.
Absolutely.
It will
gonna
be
be-
3 doors down.
They need to check, right?
They certainly do. And on Saturday this week, there will be a huge march in D.C.
Right on.
And Philly.
And Philly.
Yeah, I think they're
there's-
happening all over the
They're
place.
going to be
Yeah.
all over
Yeah.
the place, and it's the Million Woman March. I believe
Yeah.
they're calling it, and
Fantastic.
Good for them. Yeah, I think it's great. No matter how you feel about it, the fact that people are worked up enough to get out there and do something is amazing. So we gotta support that
Absolutely.
on
It's
all
a step in the
levels.
right direction.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
no
good for
pun
them.
intended.
And and another reason that I had Addie come in today was because of her feminist sort of
So
views
thankful.
on things, and she is in a band, and we'll play them out here because
Oh.
our time in the studio is wrapping up. They double booked today,
Boo.
so we're getting booted a little early, but that's fine.
Animals.
And Addie is in a band called Full Bush.
Full bush. I
Go
like.
go
not half
go
bush.
figure! It is a feminist band.
Fuck yeah.
Full bush.
But men are encouraged to come to the shows as
Sure
well.
are.
Check them out. It's fullbush.bandcamp.com, and we'll play you out with their song Raise. And this is the live version, so everybody will get a taste of what they sound like when you see them play out. And until next week, this is Josh,
Rob.
Andrew Thomas.
Andrew Thomas,
Yeah.
and we're with the Civil Society Podcast. Special thanks to Addie.
Hello, bye-bye.
No, I think he was looking for your last
I was
name.
hoping you would
my last name, Ogunleye.
Gunlea.
Ogunleye.
Nope,
I'm getting closer.
No, you're not.
Bush. I love saying
Nope.
full bush. I'm all about that bush.
And on that note, we are out of here.
What you think I need is a perfect disillusion. It's been a shitty night so far at the Happy Birthday Bar. #1 on a Friday night. You're on your third and you want me to come home tonight. Don't make me hit you with the big birthday bell. All those who doubt they can suck out your hell. I hate your jokes and your jukebox tips. When I took your left, Polly is as small as your dick. My favorite bar is the personal hell. I wanna push you down and think where she well.